Devaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Damodar, Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Madhav, Krishna, Balaram, Bal Gopal, Nrsimhadev, Ramachandra Bhagavan, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Gaunitha, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So, we're continuing with Damodar Leela. So, we are on the seventh text of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, 10th canto, 9th chapter. So this is the wonderful Leela where Mother Yashoda is going to bind up Krishna with her love, of course. Can't bind up the Supreme Lord otherwise. Mother Yashoda, after taking down the hot milk from the oven, returned to the churning spot. When she saw that the container of yogurt was broken and that Krishna was not present, she concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. So while Krishna was busy with his divine mischief, his mother saved most of the milk from the overflowing, placing the heavy pot off the fire, cleaning the stove. She then mopped the spilt milk from the floor. She did this as lovingly as she would bathe her son, with the conviction that everything in the house was for Krishna's service, Krishna's happiness, and thus as important as him. And that's why she left him in the first place. She left the service of Krishna. She left the association in Krishna to serve him. And that's not an easy thing to do. That's a challenge. And those who are spiritually advanced can meet that challenge. To leave Krishna to do his service. That's really hard. Occasionally, she would glance over to see what Krishna was doing. And Krishna's internal energy arranged that she saw him playing on the floor before an intact churn. So she would keep looking back, but what she would see is a little baby playing, baby Krishna playing. No breakage of parts or shenanigans that took place. He would be patiently waiting for her return. Such a good boy is what she would be thinking. Yashoda Mai finally returned to her churning pot, but stopped dead in her tracks at what she saw and exclaimed, Vishnu, Vishnu, what is this? What has happened? She couldn't believe her eyes. At first, she thought that the yogurt had sipped through the pot, and because they're made of clay. But then she noticed that the churn had been deliberately broken. It wasn't broken a minute ago. So this is a little bewildering for her. It was fine when she turned and looked, but now suddenly there's such a mess everywhere. Even if we notice the crows are gathering to dive into some of the nectar. Who dare do such a thing? Yashoda Mai remained hesitant to blame her little boy. How could he? Of course, he's her darling son. All these gopis have been telling so many things about him, she wouldn't believe. But no one else was present. So this is now the realities creeping up on her. Besides, who else could be so clever? This brief admiration, who else could be so clever, of her son, gave way to the realization that what the neighbors have been saying about her beloved son is completely correct. He is naughty. So, where is he? She ran to the bed chamber and beyond that to her dressing area. He was in neither place. Returning to the churning pot, she saw scattered footprints and yogurt handprints on the wall everywhere. But where was he? Not wanting to believe that her son may be involved in this mayhem, but then it dawned on her, Krishna must be the culprit. No one else around. And in fear of punishment, he has run away. She smiled at the naughtiness, the cleverness, and subsequent flight of her darling son. Yashodamai began to follow Krishna's delicate footprints, and as she did, her motherly pride grew with each step. So there you go. She's following him. There's his little footprints. Making a show of false anger, she mused. The pranks of my son are unlimited. His every movement increases his pride, and his every theft increases his bliss. Although his acts disrupt our village, they are also a festival of joy for everyone, especially me. So this is the loving nature of the Brijbasis. They love Krishna so much. They would enjoy his pranks. They would love his pranks. Yashodamai saw the storeroom door ajar and her key dangling from the lock. How dare he steal my keys from my private dressing room? So the keys, the door to the storeroom is closed, locked. And the key is in her private dressing room. So Krishna, although he's tiny, 3, he managed to find those keys from her private dressing room and open the storeroom. Opening the storeroom door wide, she was greeted by a band of panicky crows that had invaded the storeroom through a window and set upon her exposed produce. Her whole stock had become contaminated. Counting the pots, she realized one was missing. She was amazed. At first, she tried to bring some order to the storeroom, collecting the broken parts, etc. But it was too much for one person. What a big mess. How did he manage to make such a mess? Leaving the mess behind, Yashodamai continued searching. She peeked out of a window and saw in the courtyard Krishna standing on the large upturned wooden mortar, clapping his hands to catch the attention of the nearby monkeys. Yashodamai couldn't believe it, the tenacity of the boy. She watched as the monkeys fearlessly approached Krishna, who sat on the mortar and placed the pot in his lap. Dipping into the pot, scooping out a handful of yogurt, he swallowed half and threw the rest to the nearest monkey. All the others gathered around, crowded around, the monkeys, of course. This is payback time, because these same monkeys helped Lord Ramachandra cross over into Lanka and rescue Sita. And now it was their reward. Krishna was rewarding their efforts by giving him Makhan from his own hand. This is really extraordinary. Normally we want to feed the Lord, but here he's feeding the monkeys. This is truly something that's amazing, amazing. Krishna was anxiously looking here and there in case his mother came running after him. Mother, unable to suppress her joy, covered her mouth to keep from laughing. The monkeys and Krishna have a natural affinity for each other. By associating too much with those mischief mongers, my son has become as mischievous as a monkey. So she's comparing her son, the Supreme Lord, to a monkey. She's allowed. No offense taken. Of course, Krishna is slightly offended because she calls him monkey a few times. Krishna was, of course, paying a long-standing debt to the monkeys, who assisted him when he came as Ram. But Krishna knew he had crossed all boundaries, and Mother will have no sympathy for him when she finds him. So, moving on to text number 8 in the Bhagavatam. Krishna at that time was sitting on an upside-down wooden mortar, which is meant for grinding spices, and was distributing milk preparations such as yogurt and butter to the monkeys as he liked. Because of having stolen, he was looking all around with great anxiety, suspecting that he might be chastised by his mother. Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached him from behind. Yashoda Mai cautiously, so as not to slip on the buttery remnants, followed Krishna's footprints down the stairs towards the courtyard. So she was upstairs and she was coming down towards the courtyard. Although Krishna is the intelligence of the most intelligent, he mistakenly sat with his back to the house, giving his mother the added advantage of sneaking up on him. So how can Krishna do this, right? He's the intelligence of the most intelligent. How can he do this? How can he make such a mistake? This is all out of love. This is all lila. This is all a pastime meant to increase the joy of Krishna and increase the joy of his devotees. As mother came into the courtyard, she noticed her husband's jeweled walking stick against the wall. He must have forgotten to take it. She grabbed the stick, thinking that I will not hurt him, but I will give him a good scare. Krishna was alerted that the mother was coming. There you go. She's coming. The monkeys are very alert, and they warned Krishna. Mother is coming. He spun around, saw his mother with a stick. He was shocked. He did a double take. Did she really have a stick in her hands? He knew that punishment was inevitable, but a stick? She had used a stick previously to chase away the monkeys and herd the cows, but never to discipline him. Is she really coming, threatening me with a stick? Jumping down from the mortar and landing on his chubby feet, Krishna had another look at his mother. Was this all real? Is she really coming at me with a stick? He couldn't believe it. Text number 9. When Lord Sri Krishna saw his mother's stick in hand, he very quickly got down from the top of the mortar and began to flee, as if very much afraid. So question is, was he pretending? We'll see the answer in a little while. Although yogis try to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, they can meditate for thousands of years, trying to capture him with the speed of mind, but they still can't get anywhere near him. Desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penancy, they fail to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that the same personality of Godhead Krishna to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. How is it possible? She was running after him and he ran, as did the monkeys, who all scampered up the nearest tree. There you go. Mother Yashoda after baby Krishna, running after him. He looks scared. She's got a little smile on her face, but he looks scared. The demigods and sages who are fortunate enough to witness this scene looked on in wonder, mesmerized by the collage of Krishna's transcendental beauty, abode, and pastimes. Although there are many incarnations and deities throughout the universe, none could compare to the charm of this child. The demigods conversed amongst themselves. Is Krishna really afraid? Or just running as if he were afraid? Is he pretending? Anybody like to care to have a go at that? Is he pretending or is he really scared? Anybody like to answer that? Yes.
Prabhuji, I think he's pretending.
He's pretending. Okay.
He's not scared.
Okay.
But he's making Mother Yasoda that he is afraid of her. And that's why she's running with the stick to hit her. hit him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Shyamali,
I
what do you
think he's
think?
scared, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I think, as you said, he's in the mood of the child and it doesn't interfere with the mood of God. So he could be scared, as I'm not too sure, because he in that mood of a child.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, Hare Krishna,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
Naniben?
Yes, I think he's scared because, as you say, he's in a form of this as a mortal human being, as a baby, as a child, and he's addicting. It could be a lila, but it appears that he's scared of his mother and really trying to run away.
Yeah, yeah. Nice one. Nice one. Yes, Priyanjali.
Prabhuji, I think he is scared.
And why do you think that? He's the Supreme Lord. How can he be scared?
Because he's young as a child.
Yeah. Good. Good answers. Good answers. Good answers. Thank you so much, all of you. Extraordinary. For the crime of stealing fresh butter, the Supreme Lord is being threatened by a stick-wielding gopi. This is what the demigods are saying. Moreover, he who is feared by demons and demigods alike is running away in fear of her. In this land of Gokul, there is no chance of pretense for even the Supreme Lord. He can't pretend. In Gokul, in front of the Brijbasis, his pure devotees, he cannot pretend. He can't pretend. The law of sweetness dictates that he behaves like an ordinary child. So yes, he's behaving like he's scared. He's truly scared. We must therefore conclude he is full of fear. And as Shyam Malini said, both his divinity and his pastimes, childhood pastimes, are running concurrently. They're not interfering with each other. He is divine. He is the Supreme Lord. At the same time, he's a child. And he is feeling fear. This is what the demigods concluded. There you go. Mother Yashoda nearly caught him. Such a display of emotion may be bewildering even to the learned, but the Lord's associates say Krishna is possessed by thoughts of fear. What to speak of demigods? Krishna was bewildered by his own conduct. Why am I running away? Even the yogis who meditate on me through excruciating penances and over a long time, yet I am personally remaining far from them. If they can't catch me, why should I fear this gopi? So this is a divinity part of him, questioning, what's he doing? But then the child part of him answers his own question, because she holds a secret of unconditional love. That love can control, catch, and punish me. That's really powerful. That's so powerful. The demon Kalyavan would run after Krishna, never to reach him because of his own sinful ways. Yashoda Mai was not sinful but pure and loving. From Kalyavan, Krishna walked leisurely, but from Yashoda Mai, he had to run. That said, Yashoda Mai was still a good distance from Krishna. Although the force of her loving desire bridled him, neither could she catch him, neither could he escape. It was a tug of war in which they were, for the time being, evenly matched. They were always one arm's length away from each other. Whether he was fast, whether he was slow, whether she was fast, whether she was slow. They were always one arm's length away from each other. No matter how much they tried, mother and son remained one arm distant, never any closer, never any further. Run as she might, she could not get no closer. Run as he might, he could get no further. He's the Supreme Lord, but he could not escape from her because of her love. Yashodamai called out to Krishna, stop running. Stop, you thief, liar. How dare you run from your mother? Stop where you are. The audacity. Slowing somewhat, but keeping his distance, he turned and called over his shoulder, I will stop if you drop the stick. Mother Yashoda, if you're afraid of punishment, then why did you break my butter churn and ransack my storehouse? Krishna, I will never do it again. Please drop the stick. However, Yashoda Mai was still intent on catching him, so she tried another approach. With long wailing sounds and showers of false tears, he publicized his tale of woe, thinking, that mother will be intimidated if I attract the attention of the neighbors. However, mother was not intimidated in the least, continued to chase her darling boy, even making it known to him of her intentions with the whoosh, whoosh of the swinging cane. After chasing Krishna for it seems ages. Now this pastime started at dawn, early morning, very early morning. And it continues until the evening. So it's a long session. We're only about halfway through it. No, even less. Yashodamai was tiring, sweat pouring down her cheeks, her hair loosened, but Krishna was also tiring. How can Krishna tire? Right? With one breath, which lasts 311 trillion years, his incarnation of Vishnu creates millions of universes. And when he breathes in, those universes go back into his body for another 311 trillion years. How can the Lord get tired? Anyway, he was thinking, where is the shelter for me in this world? And he called out in distress. So we have our shelter, Krishna. But who gives him shelter? Especially when the mother's after him. Please drop that stick. Do not punish me with it. If you drop it, I will come to you. So, text number 10. While following Krishna, Mother Yashoda, her thin waist, overburdened by her heavy breaths, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose. Flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail. She did not fail to capture her son, Krishna. So she caught him. Considering her own fatigue and pitiful plea, Yashoda made as if to throw the stick away. So this is a typical mother, huh? Fooling the child while actually hiding it behind her. And she exclaimed, I have thrown it away. Krishna was deceived. How can the Supreme Lord, the absolute truth, be deceived? Not possible. He slowed, and by turning around towards her, slowed even more. With Yashodamai still running at full speed, the mystical arms, distant, vanished, and she managed to wrap her right hand around his right wrist and triumphantly said, now you are caught, rascal. There you go. She got him. Touching Krishna gave Yashodamai ecstatic feelings, unattainable by prayers of Brahmins, the speculation of Gyanis, or the meditation of yogis. Krishna was now arrested by the glorious love of Yashodamai. Initially, Brahma and Shiva were upset to see Krishna exhibit fear of his mother. But now they were completely bewildered to see her capture him. If Krishna was so susceptible to a gopi, how could he protect them? Oh, it's so bewildering The devatas was just shocked. What's going on here? Yes, Priyanjali.
Did the other Krishna who didn't leave Mathura do the Damodar Leela?
Yes, they were together. Yeah. They were together in one form.
Then
And that Krishna, that Vasudev Krishna is the one who exhibits the divinity. That Yashoda Krishna is always a child. Always a child.
then how did they become a two if they were together before?
They say this is the beauty of Krishna's greatness. You know, he can simultaneously be one and two at the same time.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you for asking, and thank you for trying to analyze it. But it's very hard to understand the Supreme Lord. He can do simultaneously many, many things. And we would find it very difficult to understand, let alone, try to emulate him. But this is what he can do. He can keep both emotions separate. He can be divine and a little child at the same time. And really is in fear. He really is scared. Krishna whimpered, "Mother, please do not beat me." Text number 11. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying. His tears mixed with the black ointment around his eyes, and he rubbed his eyes with his hands. He smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. He started emanating a stream of sweet, indistinct words, which were nectar to the ears of Yashoda Mai. Fully realizing he was helpless in his mother's grasp, his mumbling transformed into sobs. Yashoda Mai thought, in this disturbed condition, this boy is likely to do anything. He is so strong-willed that he might even run away into the forest. Better I secure him to an immovable object until he is composed. I will tie him down, she thought, unless he surrenders and calms down. Krishna wasn't ready to surrender yet. He tested Mother Yashoda Mai's grasp, but she held him tight. Her love is so strong. Krishna could not free himself from Mother Yashoda. He remained unwilling to admit guilt, but his courageous facade was betrayed by his tears. He was afraid. Yashoda Mai kept trying to look at his face, but whenever she did, Krishna turned away, and with his free hand, he wiped the remnants of yogurt from his mouth and body, thinking that the less evidence, the better, and perhaps her punishment would be reduced. Finally, Mother had enough of his antics and exposed the stick she was hiding. She waved it in front of him and said, "Do you see this, king of rascals? If you do, then do not try to run away again." Krishna was shocked. She had cheated. She still had the stick. He felt betrayed. The commotion was attracting the Vrajavasis, who were starting to converge. Krishna felt increasingly humiliated. He was the leader of the boys, held a position of respect amongst them. Were the boys to appear now, he would become the butt of their jokes and be dishonored as their figurehead. With so many thoughts and emotions going through him, Krishna felt overwhelmed. And after all, he was just a little boy. And he did what little boys do, began to sob uncontrollably. He tried unsuccessfully to conceal himself in the fold of his mother's sari, but she would have none of that. She would mildly push him away. This is the first time he's experiencing this. Yashoda Mai's indifference to Krishna was a new feature in the relationship between mother and son. Krishna was expecting something else. He was expecting the warmth of touch and kindness of love with which mother always wiped away his tears. But that was in the past. He had crossed all limits in his behavior, and she wanted him to learn to take responsibility for his acts. Although seeing his sad demeanor, Yashodamai almost succumbed to her maternal nature, but the importance of educating him restrained her. She started calling him all sorts of names. Oh, Shanta, restless one. Roshagrasta, one swallowed by anger. Mugdha, Prakata, greedy one. Vanarapriya, friend of the monkeys. Gra Lubdaka, house thief. Why have you brought ill fame on your lineage with such bad qualities? She's having a go at him. Krishna was hurt. Why did she have to call him names like friend of the monkeys? Yashodamai continued. To teach you a lesson, I'm going to tie you up. And for the time being, you cannot play with your toys or your companions. I will also deny you butter and yogurt, friend of the monkey. Reform and stop your mischief. If ever again you want to steal from the house, then remember this stick. Having said all that, Yashodamai let the stick fall to the ground. Krishna breathed a sigh of relief that the stick was not in her hands, but he was miffed by her comments again regarding being the friend of the monkeys and also being denied any butter or yogurt. So we can stop there. We'll continue on Monday. This is most fascinatingly, and you can see verse after verse, Sukadev Goswami is describing this one Leela. He spends nearly 2 chapters describing this Leela in full. And it is such an important Leela because there's so many aspects to this Leela. And the most important being that the love of the devotee can conquer the Supreme Lord. Not that we want to conquer the Supreme Lord, but this love is so important to begin to nurture our love to the Supreme Lord is the single most important thing that we can do in this world. Because if we can nurture some love for him, then we will be able to leave this crazy world and go back to the spiritual world. So this Leela is important in many, many different ways. There's so much nectar in this Leela. And it's nice that we have the opportunity to go through a little bit every day. Any comments, any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Nanivan.
With surprise that Brahma and Shiva doubted that how can Krishna protect us when he's sort of afraid of this gopi.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that the motherly love that Yashodamai had for Krishna, it's amazing, isn't it? That's over everything, over any love that Paramatma or our sort of whatever sadhus or acharyas or whatever they have. This one is supreme, it's unique. And even though she was also enjoying this, but she appeared that she's really angry at him.
Yeah. And one of her concerns was, who's going to marry my son?
Yeah. Oh, he's only 3 years old.
That's right. But you see, that motherly affection was what Krishna wanted to bring out in Yashoda. And she brought it out in the most fascinating way. And he loved it. And she also loved, chasing him. And this is a Leela of extraordinary depth, which we'll never understand fully. We can't. But you're right. You're right. She exhibits this incredible motherly nature towards him. She loves him so much, she's willing to punish him.
I think Krishna was more afraid of the stick.
He definitely was frightened. Yeah. First time she's picked up a stick, and he was shocked. He was absolutely shocked. What? She's gonna punish me with a stick? He couldn't believe it. Right.
Amazing. Thank you,
Amazing.
Prabhuji, for bringing it out.
No, thank you. And Lord Brahma, yes, you see,
Yes.
this is one of the tricks of Maya, whether it's Yoga Maya or Mahamaya. See, Lord Brahma is a pure devotee. So this must be Krishna's Maya on him. Because later on, when they were picnicking in the forest with the Gopas, and Krishna, he saw, I think it was Madhu Mangal, he had a big gulab jamun in his packed lunch, and Krishna said, "Hey, that looks like a nice gulab jamun." And before Madhu Mangal was thinking Krishna might want this, I want to eat it, he put it all in his mouth, and Brahma was watching, and Krishna grabbed Madhu Mangal's face, and he squashed it, and the syrup came out from his mouth and went on Krishna's clothes. And then Krishna started licking that and saying to Madhu Mangal, "Wow, that's delicious." And Brahma was so bewildered. How is this? How is it possible that this is the Supreme Lord? He's eating the remnants of somebody else. That's been in the mouth of Madhu Mangal, and now he's eating that same juice. So Brahma at that time, he kidnapped the cowherd boys just to test the Lord. Is this really the Supreme Lord? And then we had that pastime of Lord Krishna expanding himself into all the cowherd boys and the calves. You remember that pastime, Naniman?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, Brahma was bewildered. How is it possible? Is this really God? So this is Krishna's Maya, because Brahma is a pure devotee. So this is Krishna's Maya covering his intelligence for our sake, so that we can understand that this is Krishna. This is no ordinary personality. Does that make sense, Naiman?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Prabhupada.
Yes, you're right, Prabhuji. When he did his Maya, then he expanded himself for 1 year, and nobody knew about it. Like
That's right.
even all the cows were, I can't say, Gaumata was even expanded. And all the gopis and gopis were expanded.
Not the gopis, gopas.
Only gopas. Yeah, and then they were married also
at that time. Yeah,
that time, and it's just like everybody was. The parents were finding their true love with it, which I remember a lot. Sometimes I'm like in my mind. At present you are reading it, so it's freshen up's mind. But sometimes it comes in your mind. Okay, this was how it was done. Like. And now, to be honest with you, I since joining your Bhagavad Katha, Srimad Bhagavad Katha, all the Kathas, the things I never knew, and now I'm started understanding it more, which is very good. Which is very good, and it's good when you do it again and again. It just freshens up the mind.
Yes, yeah.
Even if I go to sleep tonight, it will come in my mind. Automatic.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of satsang. We should be meditating on this all day, all night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So
it's really interesting today.
Thank you.
Thank you
for feedback. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll continue on Monday now, because weekend is a bit too crazy, Thank you. So,
everybody have nice New Year tomorrow.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all. And we look forward to the next year.
Puja. So, Naniben, we're in the mandir tomorrow, Govardhan Puja. So, if you're free, please come. Huh?
Yes, we have to see the respect to our relatives.
Of course.
Once we are finished with that, actually, we do plan to come.
Okay.
Monday I won't be able to join because we are going to the manor.
Yes. No problem. No problem.
And, see
Thank
the
you.
sister and it's give all
Yes,
this.
of course. Thank
But
you.
I missed this on a Monday, but I will catch
Yeah.
it up on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Damodar Leela ki jai.
Hey.
Krishna Bhagwan Ji Radha Damodar ki Yashoda Damodar ki jai.